Wednesday night in Minnesota, Wild forward Ryan Reaves hit Wings defender Filip Hronek. No penalty was called on the play, but should there have been? Was it just head contact or was it a head shot? And to do that, we take a look at trusty old NHL Rule 48, illegal check to the head. An illegal check to the head is a hit resulting in contact with an opponent's head where the head was the main point of contact, and such contact to the head was avoidable. So first off, does this meet the qualifications? Is the head the main point of contact? Does the head take the brunt of the force? And my answer is yes. The head moves independently of the body and takes the majority of the force from that shoulder. Reeves' forearm and stomach may go through Hronek's body, but all of his shoulder is lined up with Hronek's head and connects fully with Hronek's head. At the very least, there's definitely enough head contact to look at the rest of the rule. After determining there was enough head contact to proceed, now I have to determine whether such head contact was avoidable. And to do that, we need to look at the three caveats listed below. Number one, whether the player delivering the check attempted to hit squarely through the opponent's body and the head was not picked as a result of poor timing, poor angle of approach, or unnecessary extension of the body upward or outward. And I believe there is an unnecessary explosion outward. The angle of approach is fine, the timing of the check is fine, but it's that unnecessary explosion outward or upward part. Look at this. His arm is fine, but then it goes down and then comes back up again. He's loading up to drive through and maximize impact. His arm is fine there, then coming in, he lowers the shoulder and then raises it back up again. If he'd stayed like this through the whole process, if he'd stayed the same through the whole press, it would be fine. I'd give him a break. It would be a case of holding position and allowing the opponent to run into him. Bringing the arm down and then back up into contact, combined with driving off the back foot just prior. Look at him push off and drive everything forward into contact. Those are signs of adding extra force where it doesn't need to be. Look at it again here. You can see his nameplate is straight across. The tops of his numbers are pretty straight across. If he just glides like this into contact, no issue. His shoulder is lined up with Hronek's chest and shoulder. You can see Hronek's head the whole time. But watch his arm go down. See how the nameplate dips down on a downward angle, and now his number is also down? And then watch, he pops up with his back foot, and you can see Hronek's head, and all of a sudden, you can't see it. Now the name bar is again straight across, the numbers are straight across, because he's lowered that shoulder, and then driven it up through contact. Now it doesn't go up so much as outward, but still, that's in the rule book. Unnecessary outward explosion. You can see the head there, the shoulders lined up with the chest, and now it is not. Suddenly it goes from a player holding his position and having the defender's head go into his shoulder, into now the shoulder going forward into the opponent's head. There's a big difference there. That treads dangerously into the definition of targeting or picking the head. Now, to eliminate all the possibilities, I'll keep going through the rule because there's a lot of victim blaming in this case. But keeping with the rule book, it states whether the opponent put himself in a vulnerable position by assuming a posture that made head contact on an otherwise full body check unavoidable, and whether the opponent materially changed the position of his body or head immediately prior to or simultaneously with the hit in a way that significantly contributed to the head contact. Let's look at Hronek. He picks the puck up. His head is up. He's looking around. Nothing's changed. He glances to his left, sees an opponent there, and then Reaves sneaks in. And he does look down at the puck for a brief second and then looks up. Looking at it a little more closely, you can see his head is up. He's in a normal skating posture. There's nothing unnatural in what he does. And he definitely doesn't do anything that an experienced hitter such as Reaves wouldn't expect. His head is up the whole time. His eyes come up now. The head doesn't change at all. It stays on the same horizontal plane, the same path of travel. It doesn't magically shift into Reeves' path at the last second. It's there the whole time. You can say Hronek needs to be more aware, but you can't say his head was down. You could say Hronek was in a posture that made head contact more likely, but going by the wording of the rule, I don't think it's fair to say Hronek was in a position that significantly contributed to the head contact or made an otherwise full body check unavoidable. I think it's close, though. I do. I get it. Like I said, if Reeves hadn't materially changed his own position at the last second, I'd give him a pass. But the onus is on the player delivering the check to make it as safely as possible. And I just can't get past that first and most important stipulation. Was the head picked as a result of unnecessary extension of the body upward and outward? To me, there was. Now, moving on to my own suspension scale, not playing the puck isn't a penalty on its own, but because he made no attempt on the puck, it elevates this from a hockey play gone wrong to a non-hockey play that isn't malicious, putting it in my 3 to 5 game suspension category. Tough Call would suspend Ryan Reeves of the Minnesota Wild 3 games for an illegal check to the head.